If you're a die-hard Browns fan and love breaking down the game like we do, hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell so you never miss a blitz. The Cleveland Browns find themselves once again in a familiar and frustrating position, desperately needing help at wide receiver but seemingly unwilling or unable to do much about it. Despite entering the offseason with clear gaps at the position, the front office passed on selecting even a single wideout during the NFL draft. Fans waited eagerly, hoping perhaps for a late-round flyer or a surprise pick, but nothing came. Free agency offered a second chance, yet the Browns' only notable move was gambling on Diontae Johnson, whose talent is undeniable, but whose off-field baggage makes him far from a sure thing. That leaves the team precariously thin behind Jerry Jeudy, who, while promising, cannot carry the entire passing game alone. As minicamps begin and the reality of the roster sets in, speculation has begun to swirl about whether the team will be forced to turn back the clock in an attempt to salvage their receiving core. Enter Hanford Dixon, the former Browns Pro Bowl, cornerback and franchise legend who recently stirred the pot with a bold suggestion that has Browns Nation buzzing. Speaking candidly about the team's glaring need at receiver, Dixon floated the idea of a reunion that many fans never expected to consider again. Bringing back Amari Cooper. It's a move that would raise eyebrows, not just because of Cooper's declining production, but because of the awkward history that now exists between the veteran wideout and the franchise. Still, with limited options remaining on the market and the Browns looking increasingly desperate for help, Dixon's proposal has taken root in the media cycle, sparking debate and reigniting old conversations that had long been buried. For those who may have forgotten, Cooper had a highly productive run with the Browns not long ago. Just 2 seasons ago, he posted arguably the best year of his career, racking up 72 catches for 1,250 yards and 5 touchdowns. That performance earned him his 5th trip to the Pro Bowl and cemented his place as one of the top route runners in the league. Fans embraced him. Quarterback Deshaun Watson built a strong connection with him, and it seemed like the Browns had finally found their WR1 for the foreseeable future. But in true Cleveland fashion, things quickly unraveled as contract talks stalled and production slipped. The relationship soured, eventually leading to Cooper being traded to the Buffalo Bills midway through the 2024 season. That trade, in hindsight, marked the beginning of a steep decline for Cooper. In 14 games split between Cleveland and Buffalo, he managed just 44 receptions for 547 yards and 4 touchdowns. Those numbers are respectable by most standards, but for a player of Cooper's caliber, and given the expectations attached to his name, they represented a significant step backward. It was statistically the worst season of his NFL career. Whether it was a lack of chemistry, injuries, or simply age catching up to him, the 30-year-old no longer looked like the dominant force who once tormented secondaries with surgical precision. And now, as he remains unsigned deep into the offseason, questions abound. Is he done? Can he still be a difference maker? And perhaps most importantly, would he even consider returning to Cleveland? It's that last question that really complicates this potential reunion. Cooper was not happy with how things ended in Cleveland. Reports emerged last offseason suggesting he was frustrated with the Browns' refusal to offer him a long-term extension. He felt he had earned that security after his stellar 2022 campaign. The front office disagreed, clearly viewing his age and potential decline as too big a risk. In a business sense, that decision looks justified in retrospect. But personal relationships in the NFL matter, and it's unclear if Cooper would be willing to set aside those feelings and come back to a team that effectively gave up on him. For now, he remains silent, but the door, at least hypothetically, is cracked open. On paper, the Browns need a player like Cooper now more than ever. The current wide receiver room is full of uncertainty. Behind Jerry Jeudy, the depth chart is littered with unproven talent and aging veterans. There's no clear WR2, and while Diontae Johnson could potentially fill that role, betting on him as a reliable week-to-week contributor feels risky at best. Cooper, even in decline, still offers a veteran presence, savvy route running, and an understanding of Cleveland's system. He wouldn't need to be the alpha, just someone who could deliver consistency in key moments. It's not the flashiest solution, but in a league where receiver depth is often the difference between contenders and pretenders, it might be the most realistic option available. But let's not kid ourselves. This wouldn't be a feel-good reunion. It would be awkward, potentially tense, and could backfire spectacularly if Cooper struggles again or feels slighted by the front office. There's also the locker room dynamic to consider. How would returning players respond to seeing Cooper back in orange and brown after everything that happened? Would the coaching staff be able to smooth things over and rebuild trust? These are the kinds of intangible questions that make or break NFL seasons. If this move is made, it would need to be done with clear communication and a shared vision. Otherwise, it risks becoming yet another chapter in the Browns' long history of dysfunction. For Cooper, the decision wouldn't just be about football. At 30, he knows his days as a top-tier receiver may be winding down. Returning to Cleveland could offer a chance to rewrite his ending with the franchise, to go out on his own terms, and to help a team with real playoff aspirations. The Browns have built a talented defense, a capable offensive line, and a quarterback they believe in. If Cooper still has something left in the tank, Cleveland might be the place where he can prove it. But pride is a powerful thing, and swallowing it isn't easy, especially after being traded mid-season without a second thought. Ultimately, this situation speaks to a broader truth about the Browns. Their margin for error is razor thin. The AFC North is brutal. The conference is stacked, and if they want to keep pace, they can't afford to enter the season with glaring holes at key positions. Whether they bring back Amari Cooper or explore other options, they need to act. And soon. Fans are tired of watching this team fall short because of a lack of foresight or unwillingness to make the tough call. Maybe this reunion is uncomfortable. Maybe it's not ideal. But championships aren't built on comfort. They're built on calculated risks. So here we are staring down the possibility of one of the most unexpected moves of the offseason. Amari Cooper in a Browns uniform once more. It sounds crazy, maybe even a little desperate. But in the NFL, where opportunity often comes disguised as chaos, it just might make sense. Hanford Dixon may have stirred the pot, but he also might have pointed Cleveland in the only direction that still makes sense. The clock is ticking. The question now is, will the Browns pick up the phone? Enjoying the content so far? Smash that like button and drop your take in the comments. We want to hear what you think about the Browns this season. Brace yourselves, because we've just witnessed what might be the most shocking, the most explosive signing of this entire NFL offseason. Yes, you heard it right. Tyreek Hill, the cheetah himself, is officially heading to the Cleveland Browns. This is not just a rumor anymore. It's the kind of news that will send shockwaves through every locker room in the league. Fans across the NFL landscape are still processing this jaw-dropping move. Can you believe it? The Browns, a franchise that's long been searching for that spark, that game-changing superstar, have just landed one of the most electrifying playmakers in football history. And trust me when I say this, the entire league better take notice, because the Browns aren't just coming to play, they're coming to dominate. Now let's dive into what this means for the Browns. First of all, Tyreek Hill is not just any receiver. He's a generational talent, a once-in-a-decade type of athlete. His speed, agility, and ability to stretch the field vertically are second to none. Quarterbacks dream of having a weapon like this, and now the Browns' offense just got supercharged to an entirely different level. Imagine Deshaun Watson with his cannon arm, launching 60-yard bombs to Hill streaking down the sideline. Defensive coordinators around the league are already sweating just thinking about it. This move signals that the Browns are all in, ready to shift from being a team with potential to a legitimate Super Bowl contender. This is the spark they've been waiting for. But how did this even happen? That's the million-dollar question. Tyreek Hill seemed settled with the Dolphins, didn't he? The connection with Tua Tagovailoa was thriving, and the offense in Miami looked electric. But as we all know, the NFL is a business first and foremost. Sources close to the situation say contract disputes and behind-the-scenes tension created the perfect storm for Hill to seek a new home. Enter the Cleveland Browns, an organization hungry for success, willing to make a bold statement. They swooped in with an offer that simply couldn't be refused, both financially and in terms of Hill's role in the offense. The Browns promised him not just a paycheck, but the chance to be the face of their franchise. And that's exactly what he wanted. From the Browns front office perspective, this is a masterstroke. General manager Andrew Berry and head coach Kevin Stefanski knew that to compete in the brutal AFC North, they needed more than just a strong defense and solid running game. They needed a game breaker, a player who can flip the field with a single play, who can make defenses play on their heels every single down. And Tyreek Hill is precisely that guy. His arrival doesn't just impact the offense, it changes the entire dynamic of the team. Defenses will now be forced to keep safeties deep, opening up the short and intermediate game for other weapons like Amari Cooper, Elijah Moore, and of course Nick Chubb out of the backfield. This is a strategic chess move that could alter the Browns' trajectory for years. Let's talk about the fans for a second, because Cleveland is absolutely buzzing right now. The Dawg Pound hasn't had this much excitement in decades. We're talking about a fan base that has endured heartbreak after heartbreak, that has watched rival teams hoist Lombardi trophies while they waited patiently for their time to come. And now, with Tyreek Hill in the mix, that long-awaited hope is turning into belief. Social media is already on fire with Browns fans flooding Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, posting highlight reels of Hill, speculating on how many touchdowns Hill scored in his first season, and even dreaming of parades down Euclid Avenue. And the atmosphere in Cleveland right now is nothing short of electric. Of course, with every major signing comes major expectations. Tyreek Hill isn't just being brought in to sell jerseys or create buzz, he's being brought in to win championships. That's the bottom line. The Browns' ownership has invested heavily in this roster, from acquiring Deshaun Watson to building a formidable defense, and now adding Hill puts them right in the conversation with the league's elite. But with that status comes pressure. All eyes will be on Cleveland this season. Every game will be dissected. Every play will be analyzed. The margin for error has shrunk considerably, and the Browns will have to prove that this signing was not just about making headlines, but about making history. Let's not forget about the AFC North landscape, which just got a whole lot more interesting. The Bengals with Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase have been ruling the division recently. The Ravens with Lamar Jackson are always a threat, and the Steelers' defense is as fearsome as ever. But now the Browns have a legitimate weapon that can match and arguably surpass any of those other stars. The divisional games are going to be absolute must-watch TV. Picture this. Tyreek Hill lining up against the likes of Minkah Fitzpatrick or Marlon Humphrey, breaking ankles and leaving defenders in the dust. This signing doesn't just make the Browns better, it makes the entire AFC North more competitive, more entertaining, and more unpredictable. And let's take a moment to appreciate Tyreek Hill's mindset in all of this. This is a guy who thrives on proving people wrong, who has never shied away from a challenge. Moving from the sunny beaches of Miami to the gritty, hard-nosed city of Cleveland is no small change. But that tells you everything you need to know about Hill's mentality. He's here to work, he's here to win, and he's here to cement his legacy not just as a great receiver, but as one of the most influential players of his era. If he can lead the Browns to the promised land, his name will go down in Cleveland sports history alongside legends like Jim Brown and LeBron James. As we look ahead, one thing is crystal clear. The 2025 NFL season just got a whole lot more exciting. With Tyreek Hill donning the orange and brown, every Browns game will be a spectacle. From primetime showdowns to epic divisional clashes, the narrative around Cleveland has officially changed. No longer are they the underdogs or the maybe next year team. They are contenders. They are dangerous. And with Hill in the lineup, anything is possible. So buckle up, Browns fans, because the ride is about to get wild. This is a new era for Cleveland football, and it all starts now with Tyreek Hill leading the charge. So what do you guys think? Is this the move that finally puts the Browns over the top? Will Tyreek Hill and Deshaun Watson become the most feared QBWR duo in the league? One thing's for sure, the NFL will never be the same after this. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video if you're as hyped as I am about this signing. And of course, hit that subscribe button for more. Breaking news, hot takes, and in-depth analysis all season long. This is your boy signing off, reminding you, never underestimate the Cleveland Browns ever again. Peace. Thanks for riding with us on another Browns Blitz. If you liked the video, share it with a fellow fan, hit subscribe, and ring that bell so you're always part of the Dawg Pound conversation. Go Browns!